this way. All right. We want to be open-ended and listen, active listening. Now, just to review, our adapt is assessment questions. You're assessing the situation for your client, like what's their problems, what's their triumphs, what's their wins, what's their losses. We want to discover these things. Once you've identified something that you could assess, like you said, okay, they're having problems with like busted fertilizer bag. I want to discover why it's happening. Bottom of the pallet, tearing it open. All right, discussion or discovery questions, excuse me. Activation questions, get them to react to it. So that's probably costing you a lot of money. Projection questions, hey, what if I could solve that problem for you? Oh, that'd be great. Let me do X, Y, and Z. We could do something. And then you transition. How many bags do you want to buy if we do this type of agreement? Okay, you're adapting. All right. One thing we didn't spend a ton of time there that comes back in here is there's an alternative approach, and it's called spin. Okay, and it mirrors the same method. So if adapt seems tough to remember, spin. Okay, spin is you have situation questions. Okay, what's the situation with your current supplier of X, Y, and Z? Okay, very open-ended. Hopefully they will talk. Then you will follow that up with problem questions. All right. Then, you know, hey, I'm having a problem with this supplier on this. They don't deliver properly, or they try to show up. This is a big thing when I sell products. Your truck would show up at our loading dock right at 11 when my guys are trying to transition towards lunch, and they work till 1 to unload your truck. It's a real problem. That's an easy fix. All right, have your guy leave earlier or later just for delivery. That's a simple fix. So really a big part of sales and part of the dialogue is actually good customer service. It's just being relational. We talk about relational sales here. Assess the situation, find out the problems, okay? And then what's the implication of those problems? Implication questions, okay? And then lastly, their need and the payoff if you were to solve that problem. So we spent a lot of time here, but I also want to double back and spend some time on spin because it's really a simplification of this process. Either way, you are looking to ask open-ended questions and listen for a positive sales dialogue to occur. It's the same thing, and I keep pounding it, that you would do in any healthy relationship in your life, even your dog. Now, I hope to have, read your thing, that was really good. I hope to have the type of customer who is loyal to me like my dog is loyal to me. And in fact, when I'm not feeling great, I used to have like what I would call a honey hole of customers that I would go to, and they would just make me feel better about just being me.
It's like going to the snake.
Going to where?
The snake.
Yeah, Miss Nancy, makes you feel better. Something about walking in there feels a little bit hollow nowadays. I mean, I get it, but you need to do the same things that make a relationship happy to make your customers happy. Let me find where my second marker is here. Sales dialogue and creating and communicating value. Again, this starts wide and narrows down. Starts wide and narrows down. We're looking to have a dialogue here and sell down here. The core tenets here being open-ended, and above all else, what? What do we learn from Carney? To be interested in people, or interesting to people, you need to be interested in people. Remember that? He really pounds that. How do we do that? listen, it's not complicated. Before you guys are enjoying this class, it's not complicated. It's not complicated at all. You're going to be, if you go into professional sales, you're going to get all this training, like, you need to sell this way, this way, this way. And they're going to say, that's the only way to sell. And I'm here to tell you they're wrong. I went through every one of those programs. Sanofi Aventis, GlaxoSmithKline, no offense, fellas. I know y'all have to teach everyone if they're teaching hundreds of people. They have to have a curriculum. And they have to have a model of consistency to see if you know the product. Does that mean then you roll into every doctor and sell them the same way no matter what? Nope. Nope. Things are not going to work that way. Not to get you emotionally invested here, but does your dog like water? My dog hates it. They're both dogs and both loves, right? My dog hates water. She has webbed feet and hates water. She's part Labrador, the webbed feet, part Terrier, hating water. Dogs are wonderful, they're not. Customers are wonderful. I'm not comparing customers to dogs, but they should be so great. Okay? But you're not going to have the same dog 2 times over. Okay? You're not going to have the same customer 2 times over. So why in the world would you think you're going to sell them the same way? You're not. You're not. Go in looking to create a dialogue from open-ended questions that you listen to, and then you learn. Then you sell. You are learning through here. Learn. Then sell. What's learn rhyme with? Earn. If you learn, you will earn. How about like sayings like that? I think that's a good one. You will earn their trust, you will earn their business, you will earn them as a relationship, and you will earn yourself some money. If you learn, you earn. How do you learn? You listen. How do you look? Why are you listening? Because you asked an open-ended questions that created a sales dialogue. Now, while we're listening, okay, does listening mean talking? Occasionally you're going to have to speak. But if you're listening, are you not talking? How did you set yourself up? You ask good questions. Now, when you hear something from your client and they say, I got this problem with this piece of equipment, should you explore that a little further? Do you want to completely understand their problems? Yes, so then you can thoroughly sell your product or service. Okay? In the midst of that, there's something called checkbacks. And in fact, I'm notorious in my lecture style for doing checkbacks. People even tell me this, like people who know what I'm doing. You know how we started out in economics, and I'd say have some graph or something, and I'd say, no, Rebecca, you know what this means? And you nod your head, you know what that is? That's a checkback. I got your agreement that you know where that equilibrium is now. I just sold you on that concept. The same thing happens in sales. Okay? Guys, I'm telling you right now, checkbacks are the key to a good relationship. Darling, I think this is what you're saying to me. Am I correct? You need me to do X, Y, and Z while you go out to wherever it is you're going? Because I wasn't listening, because I forgot what you said you were doing, but I'm going to make sure I do X, Y, and Z so you're not mad at me when I get back. Is that a good check back? Yeah. Do we always do that? No. Okay. Are we more effective when we listen? When we learn? Do we earn then? Yeah. Learn, you'll earn. In the book, you'll see it called encouraging feedback. Why do you encourage feedback? Because you want to hear what they're thinking. I never sold. I sold the fertilizer we were talking about with the guy down in Georgia with Milorganite. I sold that to Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, and all the independents. I sold a lot of that single product, but did I sell it the same either anywhere? No. Each individual sale is different. Your folks, your family, that hardware store needs it for a different reason than the one on the other side of town. Okay? And if you're selling hospice services, it might be different for one group than it is versus another. You know, I haven't done a good job. I've been teaching in here. Y'all been listening. I haven't listened to y'all. Y'all have any questions about my stuff or anything we've covered so far? No? You want to ask like crazy stories I got from sales or anything? No? Okay. Fine, if you don't want to know about the raccoon that time in Brunswick, Georgia.
Wait for a full classroom.
You want to wait for a full classroom? That's kind of like Mike the Gorilla story. It's kind of got to have an audience. It's like Dave Chappelle doing stand-up in an empty arena. It just doesn't have the same. What are we watching? We talk a lot about listening, but what are we watching? Body language. And cues. When you got to talk to somebody, can you pretty much verbally tell if they're interested in talking? I'm a serial talker. I'm like literally, I can be at the grocery store and somebody's on the same aisle and I'm sitting there trying to figure out where my cereal is. And I'll just start talking to somebody if they're standing right there. I'm like, man, I remember when you used to have like about 6 choices, now I got like 6,000. Okay? If someone's verbal cues are like, do I keep talking to that person? Or like, man, bro, you're right. You know, do I keep talking to that person? Body language and cues mean something. Can you, everybody got the friend who can't get sarcasm? All right, I'm going to say watch for what you're really listening to, but you can see sarcasm, right? Like I can say, pardon me, I'm probably 20 feet away from all of you, but this has to be done without a mask. I can say, yes, you are correct. That seemed like a sincere response, correct? Yeah, you're correct. Did that feel a little different? Yeah, you're totally nailing it, dude. Did you see that? What did I do? I shook my head no. Was that sarcasm? Was that a cue? All right, good. Me, I like teaching anecdotes and metaphors and analogies. I love analogies. I love teaching analogies. I always said it was metaphors, but I love teaching analogies. My man Jesus, he taught in metaphors. I teach in analogies. I was like, okay, like economics is a lot like Pop-Tarts. You're trying to decide whether or not you want to have a Pop-Tart for breakfast, that type of thing. There's always choices involved in there. I made an analogy to something that people see in their everyday life. Product demonstration, material summarized. Most straightforward chapter we've had today. I want to do an exercise. I'm not going to turn the camera on you because I didn't tell you there was going to be a camera. Tell me the last thing someone tried to sell to you and whether it was successful. I'll give you a moment to marinate on that. And we're going to dissect it a little bit and then I'm going to cut you loose. Anybody want to go first? Somebody tried to sell you perfume. Was it for you or for somebody else? You mean cologne or perfume?
Perfumes and.
Was this at the mall?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. How'd that interaction start? You were just minding your business walking?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Tell me about it.
Hey, my man, I was shooting off with a person. He was like, hey, how you doing? Good.
Cold call, right? Cold call.
Tried to go ahead and see if I was like it or not.
In this chapter, we talk about product demonstrations. How did that make you feel when you walked in for the mall, probably not looking for perfume and someone sprayed something at you?
Rushed.
Or felt rushed and a little bit of attack?
Mm-hmm.
What was your body language like? You're like, yeah. Me? I'm like, I like if Rodney's at stand, I'm walking, I see you make eye contact, I'm like, oh, hell. All right. Did you just see me go over that one? Did you waste your time chasing me down the mall? All right, how'd you react?
Make eye contact as I keep walking.
Yeah, I'm literally like, bro. Okay, good deal. Anybody else? Oh, wait, did they ask you, did they establish a need? Did you talk at all other than, man, get away from me? They did the exact opposite of all this, correct? Was it effective? Did you leave there and buy it? So what you're saying, if you're not doing this approach, it probably isn't gonna work. Now, I know there's some irony here. I'm telling you, there's no one way to sell people, and I'm saying this is the one way to sell people. That's not what I'm saying. If you use these tools, you will sell each individual person in the way they need to be sold. You, sir, were not sold in the way you needed to be sold. First of all, you probably have no big desire for a big thing of perfume. Anybody else?
I'm not sure if this counts, but this is the first thing that came to my head. I've been looking at a gift for a friend for their birthday,
Okay.
and I added it to my Amazon cart.
Okay.
And I've been waiting to get paid for work study for me to get it.
So you did like a save for later?
Yeah. And Amazon sent me an email saying, like, we've noticed this has been in your shopping cart. Here's a coupon. And I never have hit pay harder in my life.
They gave you that final push they needed. Did they ask you a question in that? Because I'm curious, like in those emails, sometimes they say, are you ready to check out?
Yeah. I got like it's a robot. That's crazy.
All right, so they know you must have a situation that you've assessed and you discovered something you'd like to get that person. Okay? What they're trying to do is get you to activate. And how did they do that? Did they give you some incentive? Yeah. So actually what that tells me is I should put stuff I want anyway in my cart and let it sit for a day or so. Gotcha. They projected, hey, you have a need. Here's something to help you on your payoff. How does that project? What did you start moving towards? And that's something you did every day. Amazon's no fool. They're selling. In fact, when you get to Amazon, aren't they offering you a bunch of different products? And then you click on a category, and then you start looking for something, you start looking for something, you start looking for something, and eventually you end up where? So, Rodney, you got anything?
Only thing I can think of is like going to a restaurant and they tried to upsell me.
Going to a restaurant and they try to upsell you. Tell me more.
Like, I used to work at this place called Patello's and they have a bunch of like service fees.
The Italian place? Yep.
Since I knew about it, I didn't fall for it, but they're like, oh, do you want to change your sauce on your, like, if you get like a dish that's usually vodka sauce and you change it, they'll change, it's like a service charge and all that. And that's the only thing I can think of. So,
You know, honestly, that's a banking model. It used to be banks run more on fees. Now, they've changed a little bit over time. People aren't putting up with it. But if people did have full information and started getting charged for extra stuff, there's no way they'd change things, and you were aware of it, so you had more information. Now, did they ask you, are you more interested in a white or red sauce or something like that?
Kind of. I'm more interested in white sauce usually.
Me too.
And I was getting the chicken parmesan, and I usually put Alfredo sauce on the chicken and keep the marinade on.
Ooh, I don't think I've ever tried that, but I think I will next time.
It's really good.
All right, now I have more information. But
You just sold you one.
he just did. That was good information. I'm a sucker for like noodles and sauce. I just am.
Carbs.
Assessment, what would you like for dinner? Discovery, how would you like it? Activation, oh, so you like red sauce on your noodles and white sauce on your chicken. Oh, by the way, I'm thinking back in my head, I'm gonna make a little money with this whole thing. Do I have to tell them that now? How would that make you feel if we brought it to you this way? How would you like your steak?
I guess a better example would be when I worked there, old people come in, and instead of getting 2 different lasagnas, they'll get one and split it.
Yep.
And Fratello's does that for you in a small service charge. And
They feel like they're saving on the menu cost, but then you slip in a service charge.
It's like a $2 charge, and I would like when I would sell that, it would basically be this process because I would have to ask and get to know whether they wanted to split or not, but I didn't have to like be too prodding with it, or else they would be turned off from the idea.
It's true. They're there to be sold some lasagna, not a Buick.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Yeah, I think it's this. It's just having the conversation. If I came into a restaurant and it's like, hey, we're gonna give you this. Let me tell you all about it. Let me tell you about my swordfish. I don't eat seafood. And they spend 20 minutes telling me about their swordfish. I don't care. Did they waste their time? Perhaps they should ask, hey, what are you guys in the mood for? And then go down the rabbit trail. I get annoyed at restaurants when they have what they want me to eat and I don't want to eat it. Why? They didn't do that. We didn't do that. You want to talk about a sales dialogue? Do that.
That mostly goes with not knowing the menu, I guess. Because if you're working there and you only know like 3 things, then you're gonna hard sell those 3 things.
Yep.
Listen to the customer.
Yep. Especially a nice restaurant, you get to a nice restaurant and you're like, hey, tell me about the cream corn souffle or something. You know? I expect them to have tried it. You ever been to Hall's Chop House? You know what they do with their specials every night? Or at least what I assume they must do? That or the waiters are really good at lying to me. They must actually try it, like a sample of it. They must actually try it, because if I ask about, you know, they'll have like plate chairs for the table, and I'm like, hey, and then one of the things they have, like this, like it's like a souffle cream corn. It's incredible, but that could go either way. Right? It's sweet, it's salty, it's all you know, but they know. And that's, and I have been there, I think, before, and someone said, you know what, let me check on that. What's the best answer you can tell someone? Just reviewing it.
No. No.
That's part of it.
I don't know.
I don't know. Now, you may sometimes have to tell people no. Okay, you try to avoid it, because you try to avoid one-word answers, number one. But if I say, I don't know, what should I say, comma, but? Say it again.
Let me get back to you.
I don't know, but let me get back to you. I can find out. I'll end the lecture right there. I don't know, comma, but let me find that out for you. I did that once at Hall's Chop House in downtown Charleston, and it was a question about a wine with a particular steak inside that they were offering, and they said, you know what, let me go get our wine expert. That's the same way as someone saying, you know what, I don't know, let me go get the person who does. The most important thing you can say in sales, and to advance the dialogue, is to not bullcrap people. It's to not guess. It's to not project what you think the answer is. You want them to project what they think their ideal answer is, and then you try to craft your product or service around that. I'll go back there, especially if somebody tells me, you know what, I don't know. Now, there are certain questions like, hey, is your steak made of kangaroo meat? And they say, I don't know, then I'm out of there. I don't know what kangaroo meat tastes like.
Probably tough.
Seems like it,
Pretty
right?
muscular.
Pretty lean and musky. Better marinate that bad boy, huh? Okay. It's okay in sales to talk some, listen a lot, and say, I don't know. It's even better if you adapt and ask your questions in that big old word right over there, listen. Listen, listen, listen. Sorry. Up to the desk.